Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video we are going to talk about the Australian Yarn Show. Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. 2 days, well actually 3 days of yarny goodness. The first day was the Friday, which I did not go to. I went on the Saturday and the Sunday because that was the market day, so when they had all the things for sale and you could sit around and knit and crochet and chat and do all the good things. So on the Friday, which, all the good things, that means, it makes it sound like Friday was horrible. It wasn't horrible, it was more workshops, and they had a yarn industry, I think it was a course. I really wanted to do it, but the price kind of put me off. It was over $300 and my budget sort of went no. But I did speak to a few people and they said that it was really, really, really good. So next year, if that's on again, I might sign up for it, because you know when you see a course and you think, oh, that's a lot of money, and if I don't get anything out of that, that's a lot of money. But it turns out it was really good. I went with my friend Natalie, and I met up with other friends as well. We'll talk about that later. And I met Natalie in the morning of the Saturday, and then we partied hard. If you could call it that, just went absolutely yarn crazy. And then Natalie came back to my place and stayed the night, and you would think, okay, drinking lots of wine and crochet and knitting and yarn. And no, we got home, we were absolutely knackered. We ate dinner, sat on the couch and just chatted. But I think we were both, including my husband, we were in bed, in separate beds. That's a little weird. We were all in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. I think all the excitement and all the things to look at, we just crashed. So then we got up the next day and Natalie had a workshop to do. Natalie did the workshop with Jenny King, who, if you don't know, is Australia's crochet queen, and did a jewellery making class, made a necklace and some white crocheted wire earrings, which was so cool. The necklace was really cool too. So Natalie did a workshop, and then during the 2 days of the event, got to meet up with friends. We mostly hung out with Diane as well. She was there for the 2 days, so had a little threesome of yarny goodness and lots of crochet. All three of us crochet, so we were just sitting around crocheting and going to talks, and because they had a main stage that was separate to the yarny market spot in the same building, but just like a dividing wall, and then there was the main stage, probably so they could have some quiet, because the market side of it was absolutely chaos in a good way, but absolutely chaos, and you wouldn't have heard anybody. So yeah, they had a little separate area, which was great, because otherwise literally wouldn't have heard a thing that the person on the stage was saying. I thought like just a couple of talks. When I looked at the schedule of all the talks, it was literally bang, bang, bang. I just sort of copied and pasted it and printed off a little thing. Natalie, if you're watching, we still have the scissor test bit on the paper. And I just sort of circled what I wanted to go and what. But yeah, 15 minutes in between each talk, probably for the host, Kat, to get a drink and just recenter herself. So there was lots of good talks. I've circled so many. We got so distracted by all the yarn in the yarn market and all the good stuff that was in there that we missed half the stuff that we wanted to listen to. So I've circled speed knitting competition, I've circled the crochet along, a needle felting demonstration, totally missed that, totally missed the speed knitting competition. Again, just got sidetracked having fun, which I guess is a good thing. And I didn't set any alarms like to go, hey, we have to go and watch this. I didn't want it to be like that. I just wanted to go, oh yeah, it's this time, what's on the main stage, let's go have a look. Did go to the chain, words, I'm getting too excited. Did go to the Mystery Cow, which is a mystery crochet along. Did go to that, and I didn't complete the project that we were supposed to do, but I did do the stitches just to get an idea of what we had to do. But I didn't have, silly me, didn't have the right yarn. We didn't know in advance, I don't think that we knew in advance what we needed to have, and the only yarn that I had wasn't caked up, and I used some cotton, which is 4-ply, which is a fingering weight yarn, and I had a bigger hook, that was supposed to go with this, because I purchased this at the show, and it looked ridiculous because it was really loopy and really loose. So I just pulled it out, as you can see. I've just wrapped it back around that yarn ball, but it gave me an idea on what to do. And I was on row 2 or 4 or something, and then Jenny King was the teacher, and she was just walking around the table, and she's like, yours doesn't look right. It's like, oh, doesn't it? And she's like, no, you've done it wrong, and you need, I don't know if this is her exact words, but basically you've done it wrong. You need to pull out 2 rows and do that again, because you were not doing it right. You were working, so you've crocheted across, and we did, I think it was like a double crochet, a chain, a double crochet, and you had like that. And then when you come for the next row, you're supposed to work around this part here and down into there, into another stitch down here. I was not doing that. I was not working around this bit. I was just going straight into the stitch. I was like, whoops. But Jenny said it was good because it was good to see how people interpreted? That's not even a word. Interpreted? That's the word. I think that's the word. Interpreted what her instructions were telling you to do. And she said to me, do you do mosaic crochet? And I've only really done the mosaic blanket that I've made. And I went, oh, not really, but I have done it before. And she said, I can tell because you went into the front instead of around all the things. I'm like, maybe I'm just reading the instructions wrong, which is highly possible. I have a very short attention span, and I kept getting up from it was in a common area of like people everywhere. So it wasn't like a classroom and I was walking out, like I wouldn't do that. But I kept getting up and going to the toilet, getting a drink. I saw someone I knew, so I got up and went and talked to them. And then I came back to the table and thought, oh my gosh, Claire, you're so rude. Sit down and concentrate on the task at hand. And I was like, oh my gosh, my brain, it really, so I'm just jabbering now, but my brain just doesn't concentrate. Again, just jabbering on about off on a tangent. So there's also the speed crochet competition and community space crochet clinic. So that's where you could, there was a community space with tables and chairs, just a common area, and you could go and sit down, and Jenny King was the person, if you had a problem, that you could go to. So people were just sitting down going, hey, I'm stuck on this, can you help me? And I also wanted to go and see the Men in Yarn, but again, got totally sidetracked and totally missed that. And there was a shadow knitting demonstration. Again, missed that too. But there was so much. As you can see, I haven't circled everything, but that was what was on the main stage. So absolutely amazing. Amazing lineup of people too. People from the industry that know what they're talking about. Just want to talk about one thing quick before we get into the yarny goodness. There was a speed crochet competition, which I wanted to go and watch. Natalie, unfortunately, was in her class, learning all the good stuff. And so Diane and we went and watched the speed crochet competition. I was going to say crochet along, not a crochet along. Speed knitting competition. And there was, I'm going to guess, say about 6 or 8 people. One of them was I think she was 11. Oh my gosh, she kicked butt. She was so good. What happened, so I didn't go in it. I was like, no, this is way too much pressure. I cannot go in this. No, I just wanted to sit in the crowd and watch. But we were in the second row, so that was good. We got like a front row seat. Front row was the people participating in the competition. So they were all crocheting like mad, and they had 5 minutes. They had to do 20 chains and single crochet back across as their starting sort of foundation. And then once everyone had done that, they started the 5-minute timer, and they had to crochet as much as they could, single crochets, as many rows, many stitches, etc., in the 5 minutes. So then once that had done, there was quite a, like I said, there was like 6 to 8 people, and she said, is there a volunteer in the audience that would like to come up and help judge? And I instantly put my hand up, I'm like, I want to judge. I want to participate in this, but I don't want to be in the competition. So I put my hand up, walked up, and she's like, oh, hello. So I didn't realise, I get very nervous, you may not think so on here, because I'm sitting in a room by myself, talking to a camera. So I get really nervous in real life, I get really shy. Anyway, that's another story. And so I thought I would just go on there, on the stage, and it wasn't really a stage, it was just standing up the front of the room. And I thought I would just stand there and nobody would talk to me, no one would put a microphone in my face, no one would ask me my name, I was just going to be that nobody knew. So I walked up, and then she just goes, and what's your name? And I completely froze on the inside. It felt like eternity before I got my name out. And then the lady, her name's Kat, she's the organizer of the, well, one of, I don't know, the organizer or one of the main organizers of the whole event. She went like this, what's your name? Claire. And then she went, hang on, I think I know you. And I was like, oh, really? I just got so nervous, completely freaked out. And she's like, yeah, we need to catch up. We need to catch up after this. I'm like, okay. So anyway, we started counting. And my friend Di was in the audience. And I couldn't hear her, but I can visualise her going, explain who you are. Say you're crocheting with Claire. Say that you teach crochet on YouTube. Nah, totally froze. Anyway, I'm laughing now because I'm laughing at what an idiot I am. But I hate talking in public. I literally hate it. Talking in public. Like, public speaking. Not talking in public like to people, but public speaking where you're standing at the front and everybody else is staring at you. Anyway, so we did that. The lady that come first did 6 rows and 6 stitches. And the second place winner, I cannot remember what her stitches were because I didn't count her stitches. We sort of like started at the ends, myself and Kat, and then like counted the people into each other. So she had the young girl who was at that end and I had the lady that one up this end. So I had 6 stitches, 6 rows and 6 stitches in 5 minutes. And then the young lady, or young girl, she had all the little crochet items on too, which looked so cool. She won second place and they gave her an extra prize because she was so young and fast. And because there was ages, all different ages, and they gave her an extra gift to encourage her to keep going with her craft and to say how amazing it is that she was there. There was hardly any kids, any young 16 and unders. There was hardly any there. They were mostly, let's say like 20s and then all the way up to 80s, maybe even older. So it was a huge range of people. Ages. So yeah, that was really, really fun. So now I'm just getting totally sidetracked. So when you signed in, or checked in, whatever you want to call it, myself and Natalie paid for the VIP ticket, which got you, I cannot think of the word. The words escape my brain. But you got like check in and you could check in before everybody else. What is that word? You got treated like a VIP. So we got this tote bag, and inside the tote bag were a few little gifts. This tote bag came in very handy as a shopping bag. Okay, so we had, this one is really cool. This is some yarn called Queensland Collection Myrtle, and it is a sustainable and compostable vegan silk spun from eucalyptus. That's a tree. What? Tree yarn. I was calling it tree yarn because what on earth? It is a number 4 weight yarn. It's called honeycomb. Fluff and bits of stuff that was in my bag. What on earth? Tree yarn. Has a $16 price tag on it. But it's eucalyptus. Here we go. There's even a little thingamajig. It says, Myrtle is a luxurious yarn spun from 100% eucalyptus fibres. It's totally a tree yarn. Eucalyptus fibre is 50% more absorbent than cotton and is sustainable and compostable. Fancy Yarn specialises in recycled, eco and novelty yarns, including yarns made from a range of alternative fibres. Visit our website more, blah, 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 blah. And it's fancyyarns.com.au. So, what on earth? I've never seen anything like that before in my life. I thought that was really cool. I mean, I've seen bamboo and I've seen cotton, but tree yarn? Oh, wait, that wasn't it. So we had a little wristband that said VIP Australian Yarn Show. We got a little mini skein from Great Southern Yarn. This one is called Tawny Frogmouth Owl. It is grown in Australia. It's a merino nylon blend. I was just making sure it wasn't alpaca because I'm allergic and I cannot touch it. But it's not. Ooh, it's not. Look at that. That is really nice. Really, really nice. called Autumn Magic. Spun in New Zealand, hand dyed in Australia, and grown in Australia. 25 grams, which equals 56 meters or 61 yards. That is so squishy and soft. Oh my gosh. Smells amazing. So that's cool. No idea what I would make with that. Does anybody else get mini skeins like that? What do you make with, what did I say it was? 25 grams? What do you make with 25 grams of yarn? Okay, what else? Oh, we have a JoJo's Art Studio Australia, handmade by Joanne Cremate. Cremat. It's a little stitch marker. And if you don't know, let's try and keep that still. That is an Australian lorikeet. Lorikeet? Aussies, correct me if I'm wrong. It's either a lorikeet. It's not a rosella. No, I'm going lorikeet. It's so cute. And it's a little stitch marker. It has a little hinge on it, so you can use it for knitting or crochet. I don't know if that's focused. Probably not, because cameras do that when they want to. They just don't focus. So you can use it for knitting or crochet. It's so cute. And Natalie got a VIP ticket as well, and I'm pretty sure, did you get it in galah? They were all different birds. So cute. So also in our bag we got some moisturizer, orange and patchouli hand cream. By buying this hand cream, you are helping Sleep Bus. They provide safe sleeps for the homeless in Australia, which I thought was cool. That was really cool. So that was the goodie bag. You can see it's huge. Amazing to fill up with stuff. Or even if you had like your jumper or something, because the weather was iffy. It was cold in the morning, but it was really warm in the afternoon. So in no particular order whatsoever, here is my yarn. So this first one is from Maximoo Yarns, and it's called Violent Bloom. I feel like, you know how yarn dyers that make their own yarn, they have sort of themes that they go with. So I don't know if this is part of a theme, but it says it's hand dyed on the Mornington Peninsula. It's an 8-ply or a DK weight, which is a number 3 weight yarn. 200 meters, 100 grams, hand wash only. Blah, 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 blah. Boom. Check that out. Is it focusing? Check out the yarn label. I just saw it and I was out of, you know how, I don't know if you've ever been yarn shopping, and it doesn't matter if it's it's a yarn festival, if it's a shop, and you just go, that yarn over there is standing out of so many other yarns on the shelf, and you just have to have it. Well, that was me. That was that. It was just hanging there between loads of other yarns, and I just thought, I need to get that. It is very, very pretty. Very pretty. So I got this one too. So as you can see, they have been rewound. That light, I don't know if it's blowing it out as much on screen that it is on my screen, but I've rewound these. These are from Yazzy's Yarns, and it's premium plant-based yarn. I think, pretty sure this is cotton. Where is it? 100% cotton, 50 grams, 200 meters, hook size 3 to 4 mil. So this, we had to get some yarn for the mystery crochet along that we did with Jenny King, and I was just doing the stitches and got it wrong, that bit that I talked about. We had to go and we had to get some yarn, and all the yarn I had was like this. It was in a skein. You may call it a hank. Most Australians call it a skein. And there wasn't a skein winder there, and I was not going to sit there and wind this. Natalie, I don't know how we got through winding your 400 meters of yarn that you got, but we did it. But I was like, no, not doing it. So I went and bought some, even though it was too fine for what I wanted to make. It was the only yarn that I saw, that I liked, that I knew I would use again, so I grabbed it. And this lady, Yazzie Yarns, I didn't get her first name. I'm getting hot. I didn't get her first name, but it was her very first market. Her first market, she chooses to go to a yarn festival. What? It was chaos. She must have been just blown out of the water with the amazingness of this yarn show and just thought, wow, what have I got myself into? And a website is yazzyyarns.com.au. And it feels really nice too. No idea what I'm going to make with it, of course. Isn't that how we roll? So this next one is Dovedale Yarns, Luxury Hand Dyed Yarn. And it is an Australian sock yarn in 8 ply. And it is 100 grams, 210 meters, 75% merino and 25% nylon. And the nylon is what makes it a sock yarn. You can obviously make socks out of whatever you want, but if it has a nylon factor in it, then it is hard wearing or harder wearing because the nylon is a hard wearing. It's not a fibre. What is it? Material? That colour. That's looking washed out in my camera again. Let's put it over here. Teal? Aqua blue? Teal? I don't know. What would you call that? I would call that amazing and pretty. I'm sorry that my hair is so feral today. My goodness. And I'm hot, so I really want to put it up, but there's... You know what? I'm still having that hot flush, so I think I'm just hot. Oh. Sorry, my bra is just, it's all going on. You can never get skinny straps if you have a larger chest. Okay, I know people going when they're hearing that. So this next purchase was from Daffodil Road. When I saw this yarn, I wanted to buy the entire display. And when you see it, you're going to know why. So with my yarn, I've got 4 skeins of yarn, and the lovely gentleman, and I'm sure the lovely lady, I'm terrible at names, do not remember. You got a free set of stitch markers, and you got to choose which ones you wanted, and I was like, oh, give me those cactuses. Now this is the yarn that when I saw it, again, I had to have the entire thing. I actually went back, and so I am normally a blue person. We've said that already in this video. And I do have a tendency to go for pink. So that is what I got. And can you see the little flecks? Let me just turn this light off. Might pick it up better. Can you see the little flecks of fluoro yarn? Now this pink is like, it's like must sticks, which leads me to another story. Remind me to talk about must sticks. It's bright. It's like a pale pink, but it's a bright pale pink. Does that make any sense? It does not make any sense, but it's not a fluoro pink. It's a bright pale pink. That makes no sense. And when I saw it, I thought, I need to knit a jumper with this because that is amazing. It is so cool. And it was called, I want to say Fairy Lights. I don't think it was called that. I'll see if I can look it up on her website and see what the range is called. But the range name, is it on here? Oh, it is Fairy Lights Collection. See? Looks like Fairy Lights. So this one is called Sparkle. And it's 85% superwash and 15% Dongao Nep. It's the flex that's in there. So I got this, and then I also got this. I was on the hunt for fluoro pink yarn so I could make myself a jumper. And I wanted to make it striped, so I wanted fluoro pink and then something else. I couldn't find the fluoro pink because I don't like, well, I could find it, but I don't like working in 4-ply, which is a fingering weight yarn. I'm sorry, it takes too long to work up. And if I'm knitting, it's going to take me even longer to work up because I'm slower at knitting. And knitting is slower to grow, as you know. So I found these were hanging next to each other. And I just thought, you know what? They would make an amazing pink striped jumper. Look at those little specks. So the darker pink one is called, this one is called Flash. What was the other one called? Sparkle. So I've got a flashy sparkle or a sparkly flash. I think these are going to look so good in stripes. And I love them. There were blues, there were greens. I wanted to buy there was purples, there was blacks, greys. every colour you could think of, literally. And they were so, so nice. Now I think that is all I got for day 1. Now I didn't go in and go crazy, not like someone else I know. Totally no judgment here. And then that. And then the little stitch markers was what I got on day 1. I mean, I'm pretty sure Natalie was the same, even though she just went, I just want everything. And I'm pretty sure you did buy everything in that yarn market. I got overwhelmed. There was so much good yarn. So much. It covered everyone's requirements. So if you wanted an 8-ply, if you wanted a 4-ply, if you wanted superwash yarn, if you didn't want superwash. So superwash is when you can throw it in the washing machine, and then non-superwash is where you're not supposed to because it will felt and you can make felting products out of it. So there was those. There was hand spun. There was machine made, commercial made yarn. There was fluffy yarn. Oh, there was mohair. Has anybody worked with mohair? I do have mohair. Thank you, Chantel from Fiberific. I've got fluff all over me too. I've never worked with it. I just think it's going to be scratchy. Is mohair scratchy or itchy? I think I need to get that mohair yarn that you've got, Chantel. Wear it as like a necklace. It's like this, skeined up. Just wear it as a necklace. It's a big loop, so I could just like put it around my neck and wear it for a few days. That's a really good idea. So there was fluffy yarn. There was mohair, but on this other stall, Obsession Yarns. And Chantel, if you're watching this, I totally read her business. She had like a neon light. I totally read it as Obsession. That goes way back. That's like a joke where Chantel mispronounced it, and now in my head I see that every time. I do not see Obsession. I see Obsession every time. So her stall, she actually had brushed, I hope this is right, brushed merino. So it looked like mohair, but it wasn't mohair. It was a merino yarn. It had like I think it had like a chain in the middle of yarn, and then like floof around it. I picked it up so many times. I should have bought it, but they didn't have a pink. I wanted a pink. I mean, they probably did at the beginning of the day, but by the time I found it, they didn't have it. And they had fluoro green, which is another colour I like. And they had fluoro green, so they had the fluoro green floof, and then the fluoro green like yarn like this, and I didn't get it. And I kept staring at it. I should have got it. My yarn budget is out of the window. Out. Gone. There is no budget left. And I don't buy yarn like this very often. It's probably been, I would say, about 6 years since I've gone this crazy. So yeah, there's that. I'm allowing myself to do this because I haven't done it for ages. My camera's blinking. Why are you blinking? 4 minutes left to talk. Pfft, that is not enough. So on day 2, it was a totally different vibe. Totally different. It's still amazing, but a totally different vibe in the whole place. It was day 1, chaos. People just so like, it was like a classroom of excited toddlers. It was amazing. Very overwhelming. Very like, everyone was on a high. It was so cool, but it was also very overwhelming and a little bit draining by the end of the day. So day 2 was chill. Everyone was just like sitting around, showing what they bought, showing what they were making, just chatting at stalls and like to stall holders and each other. It was totally different vibe. So a lady came to my table, because it wasn't my table. I actually sat down at her table because she was already there. Sat down and she was knitting. She was from Wellington. She's probably never going to see this video, but hi if you were watching. Lady from Wellington, and she was knitting, and she had just purchased this book. And it's called The Doodle Knit Directory by Jamie Lomax. 200 mix and match motifs and patterns for knitted accessories. Now, I won't show you the whole book because you're not allowed to. But in it, it has these little charts There's hundreds. 200 to be exact. Hang on. This was my favourite page. Little charts, sheep, foxes. Is that a raccoon? Owls. Not sure what's down the bottom. But just heaps of little charts. And I want to learn how to do colour work in knitting. And I know as soon as I mention knitting on this channel, literally people stop watching this video. So stop, don't go away, because that is all I'm going to say. It feels amazing, and you should get it if you love knitting. So on day 2, I went back to Daffodil Road, and I bought the blue. I couldn't get the blue for my jumper because they didn't have enough. Could I order some more? Probably. Does my budget allow me to? Sadly, no. I don't buy yarn like this very often. It's probably been, I would say, about 6 years since I've gone this crazy. So yeah, there's that. I'm allowing myself to do this because I haven't done it for ages. The camera's blinking. Why are you blinking? 4 minutes left to talk. Pfft, that is not enough. And I bought some point protectors. These just go on the end of your knitting needle so your stitches don't fall off. And then this one was more of those, but from a different store. And I got mushrooms, and if you know me long enough, you know I like skulls. And I got some mushrooms. Hello. It is further on in the day, and I am sitting down to edit, and I realised that I didn't talk about a couple of things. So I'm going to add them on. I was so exhausted from the 2 days. Well, the previous week had been really busy. The Thursday I helped most of the day at a seniors day, so I was running around serving food, cleaning up and all that stuff, setting up and all that. And then the Thursday night I had line dancing, and then the Friday I had the morning off, but then the afternoon and the evening was setting up my markets, and I had a few meetings and stuff, so that was just full on. And then I think my husband went to the pub, so I didn't get to bed late until about 10:30, which is pretty late for me. And then Saturday and Sunday were just absolutely excitement plus, and I was totally exhausted. So Monday and Tuesday, Monday did not get out of bed unless I needed to eat or go to the toilet. Didn't even have a shower, which for me is very rare. I normally don't have a shower unless I'm sick. I always have a shower every day. It's just the thing that I do. And then Tuesday I was pretty much the same, but by Tuesday afternoon at about 4:30, I kind of like felt better and I could get up and do stuff. And then Wednesday I was fine. I just, like that, which was yesterday, I felt totally fine. I just needed those 2 days. I think I might have actually been dehydrated because I normally drink around 2 litres of water a day, and I definitely didn't do that for about 4 days. So I think I was just really dehydrated and also exhausted from a big few days and just not being able to sit down and relax for a little bit, which is totally fine because I chose to do that. But yeah, I think that was it. And another thing I forgot to talk about was my lovely friend Sandy. I haven't forgotten you. It's just my brain. It is just my brain. I met up with Sandy, who was the lady I met on a crochet cruise, and we figured out it was more than 6 years ago. And now I can't remember because of my brain what we said it was, but it was like 7 or 8 years ago. It was so long ago, and when we met, it felt like it hadn't been any time at all. So we got to catch up, have a chat, and right at the end, well, the last time I saw Sandy, she ran up to me and she says, "I got you a present," and she handed me a packet of must sticks. There is a video, I don't even know what I was talking about in the video, but I have a little pouch. It's not here, I can't see it anywhere. And it has must sticks on the outside, and it's an Australian lolly. And she handed me a packet of must sticks and said a few words. We had a good old giggle about it, and then she left. So it was great to catch up with her, and your must sticks were very much enjoyed. They only lasted 2 days. We had a really good, sorry, I'm just thinking about when you handed me those must sticks, it was hilarious. And so thank you very much for catching up. And then also I met a lady, I don't know if I actually caught your name. I'm not sure if you said your name. If you did, I am sorry, and I have totally forgotten. Like I've said, my brain. But I do remember that your username was Taswegian. There might have been a bit more to it, but it was Taswegian because I actually recognised that username when you told me from comments and stuff on my videos. So it was lovely to meet you in person. I met up with a couple of people that watch my videos or have seen me on YouTube or somehow know me. a lady, we were in a line, Natalie and I were in a line, I think we're buying yarn, probably buying yarn. And this lady said, oh, hello, how are you? And I'm like, good, thank you. I'm just nice to people. Like, if someone says hello to me, I'm just going to, depending if they know me or not, I would say hello. And she says, your name's Claire, isn't it? And I was like, yes. And she goes, yeah, I've watched your tutorials. Little did I know, this lovely lady, Natalie told me her business name. I'll have to message her and put it across the screen. Yes, she's a Tunisian crochet artist and makes lovely, lovely things. What I actually noticed she had like a vest on, and I noticed that and I was like, that it was knitted. It wasn't. We had a look through this lovely lady's Instagram and it's Tunisian crochet, and I was like, what? How can that be Tunisian crochet? It's gorgeous. I'm not saying that Tunisian crochet is not gorgeous, but in my head I was convinced it was knitted, and it was absolutely stunning. There was so much that happened that I'm sure over the next few days it will just come back to me what happened. It was jam-packed, full of excitement, full of lovely people. The organisers, honestly, they probably weren't even paid enough money to organise the Australian Yarn Show, but it was so good. It was so good. All the talks were great. Yeah, just the market hall was fantastic. If I could give feedback, and just a little feedback, and it wasn't a huge problem, so to speak, I didn't think that there was enough seating for people just to hang out. And this is not their fault, totally not their fault. It was the venue. So the knitting, the market and the main stage and a small community space were all on the same floor. And then if you walk downstairs, there was more seating area downstairs. Probably wasn't enough for the amount of people that were there. I'd be really interested to see how many people went, because it was packed. It was so busy. The Sunday not as busy, but the Saturday was just nuts. And if that seating area, if that hotel could put that seating area, which they can't because they'd have to redesign their building, but if they could put that seating area up on the same level, I think that would be amazing. But then I didn't sit downstairs, so maybe sitting downstairs you're away from the hustle and bustle, because that seating area was more spread out. It was more like lounges and big comfy chairs, where upstairs it was tables and chairs, so to speak. And you got free, that's another thing I didn't mention, you got free coffee each day, one free coffee each day. I don't drink coffee, so I got a chai, which they didn't mind. So I thought that was fabulous. You kind of felt spoiled because you got a free drink. And all the vendors, all the people that were I don't know if they're volunteering or getting paid, but I know one of the gentlemen at the front door was her dad, so I'm saying he probably just got roped in. Yeah, they were all just lovely and nothing was a problem. Okay, so my problem that I thought was a problem about the seating, maybe it wasn't a problem. So downstairs was away from the hustle and bustle, and if you're a person that needs to get away from big crowds, I mean, even I felt like I needed to get out of that market because it was so busy. It was so crazy. Everyone was just having fun and buying yarn and stuff. So, but I think if you are sensitive to big crowds and noise, especially because everyone was excited, I think downstairs would have been suited more to you because it probably was quieter. Okay, so my problem has now been solved because it's not really a problem now. I didn't think about it because I didn't actually sit downstairs. I was sitting upstairs at the community table, and the community table wasn't big. There was probably, I think, about 6 tables, small tables that sit 4 people, 6 tables altogether. That space wasn't big enough. It wasn't big enough for when they'd had a crochet along, and a knit along, and they were both at the community area. It wasn't big enough for when people wanted to come and sit and do that. And also there was a couple of talks there, and there was like a crochet clinic and a knitting clinic. If you had problems with your stuff, you could come and ask for help. So that bit, there wasn't enough seating. I had stayed for the crochet along, and I did have a seat, so I was okay. But some people, I think, may have just not joined in because there wasn't enough seating. I don't know. Is that really a problem? Do you think it's a problem? It was nice to just, sorry, I am drinking a, what do you call them? We call them cuppa soups. Basically a soup in a packet and you chuck it in with hot water. There was a noodle. No, just ate it. Do you like to sit down if you go to a yarn festival and sit with people, like-minded people, and have a chat? That's what I found was really nice. I thought that was really nice. You could just sit. And we sat for, well, no, I sat for a couple of hours when Natalie was in her workshop. I sat there for a couple of hours chatting with all different people. So that was good. Do you do that? I felt like on the Saturday, you couldn't do that as much because you would like rush. And that's, I think I said that in my video when I said I was going to the yarn show, that you would just rush around if you just went for one day. And that's what it felt like. I think maybe we sat for an hour or so in the afternoon after the chaos and went to some yarn talks and things. I definitely am glad that I went for the 2 days. I think Natalie is as well. We got just to hang out and just chat rather than go to a yarn show, run around, buy yarn, have lunch, and then go home. So I think that it was more fun, if that kind of makes sense. It was more like a weekend retreat, except we had to leave the house. We could have stayed at the hotel, but we only live about an hour away, so it's pretty good. In the countryside where I live, it's half an hour to the supermarket, so an hour is not that much. Anyway, I just had to add that in because I totally forgot about it. I'm sure there's more that will come to me, but maybe I could talk about that in a different video. I don't know. And until next time, happy crochet. Bye!